What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 12, No Hard Feelings. Let's get started with Shawn and Joanne because Shawn and Joanne pissed me off the most. It aggravates the hell out of me that they are so selfish that they didn't think it was important at all to tell their children when they got married, when they actually got married, like to tell them at the time that it was happening or before it happened. It really doesn't bother me that much that she didn't tell her mother. I understand, like, this is your daughter and your daughter got married and your daughter didn't tell you that she was married and that she's been married for 2 years. The mother was hurt, which was absolutely understandable. I'm not faulting the mom for feeling hurt that her own daughter didn't tell her that she was married. I get why the mom was upset. And yes, Joanne definitely should have told her mom that she was married. But I feel like she really owed it to her children to tell them that she was getting married at the time that she got married, not 2 years after the fact. Because if you're going to add a bonus parent and bonus siblings for your children, you need to let them know. You need to let them know before you actually do it to make sure that your kids are absolutely comfortable with this arrangement. You should have been trying to introduce Shawn to your children. This trip to Ireland should have already happened, 2 years ago or more, whenever you and Shawn had decided that y'all were serious enough to want to get married. That's when you should have introduced your boys to Shawn, and Shawn should have introduced his daughter to Joanne, not 2 years after the fact. So it aggravates me so much that her children and his daughter were completely oblivious and completely in the dark about the fact that Shawn and Joanne got married. It bothers me. That bothers me more than her not telling her mom. And I really don't care about her not telling her best friend. But it just irks me because your children are young. Yes, she does have an older son who's like 17, 18 years old. But she prides herself in having a very close relationship with her children. And I know that her sons felt some kind of way that she kept this a secret from them for 2 years. And then Shawn, he has custody of his daughter, I believe. And it looks like, Shawn and his daughter are also very close. And the fact that you kept this from your little girl, it just bothers me so much that they did not tell their children that they had gotten married. I think it's extremely selfish. So it starts off with Joanne, Shawn, and Joanne's best friend who traveled with her and her boys to Ireland. They go to a pub, and I guess the pub, this whole entire meeting was for the friend to try to get to know Shawn better. So, to kind of see if he passes the test and if she's going to give Joanne the thumbs up regarding Shawn, which really doesn't matter because Shawn and Joanne are already married. So the friend is asking all of these questions like, what are your intentions with Joanne? How do y'all plan to make this relationship work because y'all live so far away from each other? Is it going to be him traveling to see you traveling to see him? How is this all going to work? And of course, John and Joanne already have a plan. The intentions are they're married already, okay? And she wants to live in Ireland with him, but they can't tell the friend that because they haven't yet told the children that they were married. So they couldn't tell her, well, we're already married. So the intentions have already been satisfied or have already been fulfilled. And I'm planning on living in Ireland with him. So I'm thinking to myself, so then Joanne says, well, she says in her confessional to us that she plans to tell her kids and her best friend the next day that her and Shawn are married. So what was the point of this whole meeting at the pub? If you're not going to be telling your friend the what's up, then what was the point of her asking these questions looking like an idiot because the two of you are already married? Like, what was the point of this whole scene? I didn't understand. So the next day, they sit down with the best friend, with all the kids, and they tell them that they're married. And I don't think that Shawn and Joanne got the response that they expected. So I'm thinking that what Joanne was anticipating was that because it looked like her kids like Shawn, right? They've been there a couple of days in Ireland and it seems like everybody's getting along really great. The kids are getting along with each other. The boys like Shawn. I think the little girl likes Joanne. And so because it seemed to be going well so far, everybody meeting, Joanne probably thought that her boys are going to be like, oh my God, that's so cool that y'all already married because we love Shawn. We like Shawn so much. It's so cool y'all already married and he's already our stepdad. I think that's what she was expecting. So when they tell the children and the best friend that they're married, they were all shocked. And the little girl didn't even want to believe it. Shawn's daughter did not even want to believe that they were actually married. She kept on saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. I don't believe it. Her sons were shocked. Her youngest son was confused as hell. Her oldest son was like, what? Are you kidding me? And the best friend was just like, I'm pretty sure the best friend felt so stupid because she was asking all of these questions the day before at the pub as if Shawn and Joanne were still trying to figure it out. Like they were still trying to decide what path their relationship was going. Coming to find out, these people have already been married for 2 years. Okay, they're like even past the newlywed stage. So I'm pretty sure everybody just felt stupid. Here you are bringing your kids around this man, and they're interacting with him as if he's like a stranger. They're asking him questions or he's asking them questions. They're trying to get to know each other. Her oldest son had said previously, I feel like my mom is wanting my opinion about him. And he probably is thinking that, my mom wants to know how I feel about Shawn so that she can make a decision if she wants to continue this relationship with him or not. So her oldest son probably felt all of this pressure on him to, let her mom know exactly how he felt about Shawn, but not to, and hoping that he wasn't going to like upset his mom if he didn't like Shawn, or if there was something about Shawn that bothered him. He was probably hoping that, he wasn't going to upset her because it seems like Joanne really likes this guy. So her son probably had a lot of pressure in giving his opinion about Shawn. But come to find out, all of that didn't matter. His opinion about Shawn makes no difference. It doesn't matter because they're already married. So the little girl to me, she started off like Shawn's daughter. She started off kind of like, "Oh no, this isn't true. You're not really married. You're lying." And then as the conversation continued, it was as if she was upset. This was not cool anymore. This wasn't funny anymore. And Shawn asked his daughter, do you want to go for a walk and talk about it?" And she's like, "No." I felt like she wasn't happy with this news. And like I said, her sons were confused. Her oldest son probably felt stupid, thinking that, I have a really important job in deciding whether or not this guy is good enough for my mom to be with. But yeah, he's already your stepdad. So Joanne admits in her confessional that her and Shawn were just too wrapped up in their own world and that they didn't really consider how their decisions would affect other people, i.e. their children. So and she even admitted that, this was not a good idea, but it's too late now. It's too late. Her mom, okay, when she told her mom was really devastated. What can her mom do? She's an adult. She doesn't live with her mom. But when she told her children are still trying to, um, they're still trying to figure things out. And then to know that your mom has hidden a secret as big as this from you for 2 years, for 2 whole years, I'm pretty sure that must have been just a tad bit devastating. They're going to get over it. They're probably going to be one big happy blended family. The kids are probably going to enjoy visiting Ireland, when she decides to, make it a permanent home. I'm pretty sure it's all going to work out at the end. But at this moment, at this time, I think that she just comes across as being very selfish, very secretive, very manipulative. I don't think that her kids or his daughter looks upon them with any type of respect or pride or anything like that. I think that they really disappointed their children. And like I said, the best friend probably felt stupid because she was interrogating Shawn the day before as if, this was all brand new, as if Joanne was still trying to figure things out with Shawn. So they made everybody feel stupid and foolish. Moving on from there, let's talk about Josh and Lily. The reason why I want to talk about Josh and Lily um, so soon in my review was because, y'all, I was like shocked when Lily was like basically begging this man to sleep with her. I was shocked because I had no idea that it was that bad between them. So it starts off with Lily explaining to Josh how there's this tradition in Japan that after a couple gets married, they come back and they sleep on a red bed. So she takes out the red sheets and blankets and pillows and stuff, and that's what they're going to use on their bed. That's what they're going to put on their bed. It's supposed to symbolize, a red bed is supposed to symbolize prosperity and good luck and all kinds of positive things for the newly wed couple. So as they're making the bed, um, Lily brings up how they have not been intimate ever since Shawn arrived in China. I was like, what? So she says that he has not initiated sex between them at all. She talks about how she feels rejected. She feels like he's not attracted to her. He doesn't want her. And it's bothering her. It's hurting her. And she says in her culture, women don't initiate it. It's always the man that will initiate it. So she felt uncomfortable, initiating intimacy with him. And she was waiting for him to make the first move, but he never did. And so she was like, okay, it's been, a couple of days. Now it's been a couple of weeks. Like, what the hell is going on? So now she brings up her concerns to him. His excuse is that he's still trying to adjust to the different time zones. So I don't know exactly how long he's been there at this point. And also he's had a cold. And so, and I was thinking maybe he also felt emasculated because she kept on bringing up how he doesn't make any money. He's not providing everything she has to pay for, because she constantly would bring that up to him, how she pays for everything. And in a really passive aggressive nature, in a really passive aggressive way. And so he probably felt somewhat affected by that. He probably felt emasculated. Like, you know what? My woman is waiting for me to provide for her and I can't. So maybe that also has something to do with it. So she's letting him know, like, hey, I'm waiting. I want this to happen. I want you. I'm hoping you want me. So, like, what's up with this? And he tells her, oh, okay. Yeah, just give me a few days. What? What? Give you a few days for what? Why can't this happen right now? Like, what are you talking about? Give you a few days. Is like, are you waiting for your blue pills to come in? Or what are you waiting for? Like, I don't understand. And another thing that's kind of been aggravating me about this show is that whenever they show a teaser for this show, they always show the scene where it's Josh and Lily's day of the wedding, and one of them says to the other, this wedding can't go through, this wedding can't happen today, or something like that. They constantly show that as a teaser, but they never get to that scene. So that's probably going to be for the season finale. So yeah, Josh and Lily are struggling. It's so crazy to me how many people on this show are struggling with intimacy. Josh and Lily are not getting it on. Well, not this show specifically, but just the whole 90 Day universe. There's so many issues of intimacy. So I'm just like, what is going on, Josh? Like, I'm not buying the whole because of the time zone and I have a cold. I'm not buying that at all. Okay. I'm not buying that. So I don't know if he's feeling emasculated or he needs his, little blue pills to help him, or if he's just not attracted to Lily. But I thought that was quite interesting. Let's move on and talk about Statler and Dempsey. So they are still on the ferry. And Statler is still struggling with her anxiety about being on a boat and being out in the middle of the ocean. And the last time that we saw them, Dempsey got so frustrated with Statler that she just went inside. So she comes back outside and she's attempting to have a conversation with Statler about how Statler talked to her, because it was rude. When Statler was like, just leave me alone, get away from me, I don't want to talk. You didn't read all the literature and dissertations that I gave you on anxiety, so you don't care about me, you don't love me, go away. So Dempsey felt some kind of way when Statler was talking to her like that. So Dempsey comes out and she's trying to make amends. She wants to have an adult conversation about not exactly what Statler said, but how she said it. Dempsey understands that Statler, it's very common for people to feel anxiety, to feel anxious when they're on a boat, to have a fear about being out in the ocean. Totally understandable. No one is dogging her for that. But it's just how she expressed herself. When it looked like, to me, Dempsey was trying to help her, because Dempsey is trying to make the best out of a horrible situation. You have your partner who is deathly afraid of being on a boat. It's part of the process of whatever the hell y'all are doing. And you want her to feel comfortable, and she doesn't want your help. She's pushing you away. Totally understandable. Okay, fine. So when she's attempting to talk to Statler's still in a funky mood. She's still upset. She's still like, you doesn't understand what anxiety is all about. You don't understand how anxiety affects people. And Dempsey asks her, do you still want to go through with this trip? And Statler was like, yes, I'm on this boat, aren't I? Once again, Statler, your delivery is garbage. Why can't you talk like a normal, respectable adult? Especially to someone who seems to care a lot about you, who enjoys being with you, who likes you, who loves you. Why don't you talk to her a little bit better? Like, why do you have to bark at her? And she's like, yes, of course I do. I'm on this boat, aren't I? Just like when when she first arrived in England and they were driving in the taxi or the Uber, and Statler was in one of her moods, because she had anxiety or whatever because of the trip. And Dempsey was like, are you okay? Are you sure you want to be here? And Statler was like, of course I am, because I'm in this car with you, right? So it's just like her delivery is just awful. It's just really, really awful. And if you were not raised, if no one was there to teach you how to talk properly to people, as an adult and you're going through life and you're around other people, aren't you picking up social cues on how to talk to people? Like, I don't understand why she has to snap at her so much. And the thing is that you're going through something emotionally. You have anxiety and all these other issues. You're going through something emotionally, and that's fine. But why can't you just speak a little gentler? Like, you can tell Dempsey, you know what, Dempsey, I really appreciate what you're doing. I know you're trying to comfort me, but this fear that I have about being on a boat on the ocean, it's kind of crippling. So just give me a couple of minutes, just give me a few minutes. And then once we get to the other side, I'll be back to my regular self and we can continue on our journey and I'll be in a much better mood. Something like that. I don't know. So Dempsey is trying to come to some type of resolution, and Statler just refuses to talk about it. She says, I don't want to talk about this right now. Let's talk about this when we get on land. I need to get on land. I don't want to talk about this right now. And so Dempsey says, you know what? Maybe we're just not compatible, because I want someone who is going to enjoy this trip as much as I'm enjoying it. So if you're not having a good time and this is not your thing, maybe we're just not compatible. So then Statler says something about, in her confessional, she says something about, I can't believe I'm being dumped in the middle of the ocean. Yes, honey, you are. Yes, hopefully you are being dumped in the middle of the ocean, because your attitude is garbage. You're acting crazy. Yes, you're being dumped. Well, I don't think Dempsey was dumping her, but nobody wants to be around that. Nobody wants to be around that. Like I said last week, if it was me, I would have left her all the way alone. We would not have talked on that boat. We would not have talked in that van. I would have left her all the way alone, because how many more chances can you possibly give someone who feels like they have the right to do that? Because Statler's whole thing is, I have the right to feel how I feel and express myself how I want to express it, and you're just going to have to accept it. No, you don't have the right to do that. If you have the right to do that, fine. But nobody has the right to accept it and to swallow it. So if you want to act like a brat and talk to people in this condescending way, in this really rude way, if you like, you have the right because you have anxiety and you consider this like, this is a mental illness for you and you can't control it or whatever the situation is, and you feel like I can talk to you any way I want because I have anxiety, then whoever you're talking to, they also have the right to be like, you know what? Kick rocks and just leave you alone and let you deal with your anxiety the way you want to deal with it. And we don't have to talk ever again in life. So yeah, Statler is still, in my opinion, still acting like a damn baby. Moving on from there, let's get into Shekinah and Sarper. So your boy Sarper is working overtime, double time, triple time, trying to win Shekinah back. So he thinks that one way that he can try to win her back is by destroying all of the liquor bottles that he was collecting, which she says these were all mementos of the women that he's been with. And he claims, no, these are just mementos of the places that I've traveled. So these bottles have been bothering the hell out of her since they met, and he had refused to give them up. So finally he is deciding to destroy them. So he takes her out in the dead of night. He takes her out to a junkyard, and they start throwing the bottles, breaking them all. This is supposed to be symbolic of him letting go of his past, letting go of his player ways, I guess, and being more serious with Shekinah. He also has his notebook of where he would keep track of all of his conquests, all of his 2,500 conquests. Um, he burnt the book. So Shekinah was like, you know what, I really appreciate the gesture and the thought behind it, but you still need to go to therapy because you've got major anger issues. So he's like, okay, fine, whatever. So they go to therapy, and I really wasn't interested in this part at all. But they go to therapy. They're talking to a therapist, and they talk about the damn vanity that he wanted to buy her that she didn't want because it was ugly, and he felt rejected because he's trying to do this really nice gesture on their anniversary. No, not their anniversary. It was on their birthday because their birthdays are close together. So he thought he was doing this really nice gesture about buying her this vanity. She didn't want the damn vanity because it wasn't her taste. And he felt like really rejected. He got pissed off. And really, the root of all of that was that he probably had forgotten to buy her something. He was scrambling to buy her a vanity at the very last minute without any thought, not putting any thought into it, and just to hurry up and buy her something. And she was like, I don't want that. It's ugly. And at the end of the day, she kind of really didn't care whether or not he bought her something or not. She didn't care about that. She just wanted to celebrate their birthdays together, and that's that. But she had bought him a gift. So he felt bad that she had gotten him a gift, but he never got her a gift, and that she rejected his last minute purchase for her. And that's where his anger came from. So then they talk about that, and then, she talks about how that argument about the vanity led to him grabbing her phone, led to him yanking her extensions out of her head. And so all to just say that this man has a horrible, horrible anger problem. And he says he gets really angry whenever Shekinah he feels really threatened whenever she's outspoken. He doesn't like it. He just wants her to accept whatever he dishes out, and to be a good little Stepford wife, and just nod her head and say yes, thank you, I love you, and that's it. So whenever she becomes outspoken and assertive, he feels threatened by that. He doesn't like that. So whatever. I don't know. I feel like Shekinah is wasting her time. I think that Sarper is just going through the motions of therapy because he just wants Shekinah to hurry up and get back in his bed. That's what I'm thinking. He's just trying to go through the motions to get her back in his bed. I don't think that he's taking any of this seriously because while they were in therapy, the middle of their session, he turns to her and says, "Do you love me?" And she's like, "Of course I love you." And it's, to me, that's very like manipulative. It's kind of like him saying to her, um, I'm this lost, broken boy, and I just need I need your love. I need to make sure, I need to be reassured that your love is still there for me because I'm just nothing without it. And it's very manipulative, a way to kind of lure her back in or whatever. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of Shekinah and Sarper. I'm just so sick of them. No, no, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.